Today on the podcast, I want to talk about a really interesting new AI story, and that is that Anysphere has just raised $8 million, and they've done it from OpenAI to essentially advance its AI-driven IDE. So today on the podcast, we're going to be talking about the implications of this, why they raised the money, what they're going to do with it, what an alliance with OpenAI means, and where this goes with the future of AI. So without further ado, let's jump into it while I break this down. Welcome to the world's #1 AI podcast, AI Chat. I'm your host, Jaden Schaefer. Make sure that you go to AIbox.ai, link in the show notes, to join the waitlist for our new AI platform. We're going to be launching an incredible platform that allows you to build anything you want with workflows in AI. So you're able to chain together ChatGPT and image generators and audio generators to make really powerful apps for your organization, or you can host them on our marketplace and actually generate royalties from them. So make sure to go to AIbox.ai and join the waitlist. In addition, if you like the podcast, if you could do me a massive favor and please leave us a review on Apple or Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcast. This helps me be able to get better guests on here as they check the reviews to see how you guys are liking it. So if you could please do that, I would really, really appreciate it. Have you ever wanted to start your own podcast? I record and publish podcasts on a platform called Spotify for Podcasters, and I absolutely love it. Essentially, you can upload from your phone or computer, and it distributes to every platform that plays podcasts. They support video podcasts, and you can make money on the platform with ads or even podcast subscriptions, something that has made my life so much easier as a podcaster. So if you're interested, I highly recommend you give it a try. You can download the Spotify for Podcast app or go to spotify.com/podcasters to get started on your podcast today. The AI startup Anysphere has announced that they've raised $8 million in a seed round, which was championed by OpenAI's startup fund. This is the fund of OpenAI that invests in new AI startups. Notably, other significant backers in this round included former GitHub CEO Nat Friedman and Dropbox's co-founder Arash Ferdowsi, along with a bunch of different angel investors. I think with this boost, Anysphere's financial, essentially their bank account now has around $11 million in it. And really they're trying to fortify their AI machine learning endeavors, which is what their CEO, Michael Truell, has recently said. So that brings up, of course, the question, what exactly does Anysphere do? So essentially what their, ambition is, what they're saying that they're doing is to reimagine the programming sphere. So recently their CEO said, quote, "In the next several years, our mission is to make programming an order of magnitude faster, more fun, and creative." He essentially, also talked about Anysphere's commitment to ensuring developers enjoy a quick software creation experience. So it's really something that is here to speed up, developers and how fast they can get stuff done. So essentially how fast they're developing things. So the concept of Anysphere kind of gets its roots in MIT, where Truell met co-founders Suella, Asif, Avid, Lungmark, and Amar Sang, so the four of them essentially kind of had this shared vision, which was an integrated development environment, or as they're often called, IDE, that simplified tasks which were kind of central to software development. So things like debugging, right? When you write some code, you want to check to see if your code's good. If it has any bugs, you got to debug it. Those types of things they would like to simplify and make them easier. So Cursor, which is Anysphere's AI native IDE, and it's also a derivative of Microsoft's open source code editor, VS Code. Essentially, it's this vision in reality. So, of course, these guys are equipped with AI-fueled tools, Cursor aids, and, they have developers in both coding and posting code-related queries. So, for instance, queries like, what service in VS Code lets me save, a state to disk, will promptly be met with, all of the documentation and all of the code, elucidations that you actually need. So, the magic, I think, isn't just in, simply being able to query that. Sanger, kind of discussing Anysphere's differentiation from, other tools in this space, because this definitely is a space that is hotly contested, mentioned, quote, "When people think AI plus coding, their mind usually goes to AI-powered autocomplete. We think this has been done particularly well by GitHub Copilot and others, so we're focused on features that come after autocomplete, like finding bugs and code-based Q&As. I think this is really important. I've seen, obviously, we've all seen a lot of different tools in the space of development, and AI. And if your main goal, which there are a number of companies, is just exclusively to compete with GitHub Copilot on some, reason, like we're GitHub Copilot, but we do like these three things like better. I think that's a dangerous game, especially for startups to play, because GitHub's Copilot is going to have a ton of money to just kind of essentially over the long run continue developing this tool, where startups may not always have that if they don't get immediate traction or product market fit. So I think it's really smart for products like Anysphere to go kind of beyond that and then say, what happens after GitHub's Copilot helps you do something, like what's the next steps to speeding it up. So then they're looking at things like finding, debugging code bases, Q&A, all that kind of stuff. So, how does Cursor kind of carve out a niche for itself in all of the IDE, these huge IDE companies? So Microsoft's Visual Studio Code, as the 2023 Stack Overflow Developer Survey indicates, is the preferred choice for, I think, around 73% of developers. So they're building this in a space where definitely the audience is there. So while Anysphere views Microsoft as obviously a formidable adversary, they got a ton of money, they have kind of an interesting perspective. So given Visual Studio Code's broad clientele, Swift, or, really if they're trying to get some quick updates out there, they're going to risk essentially making a big segment of their users upset if they're trying to, change everything in there. People don't want a lot of change, especially in the UI. They don't want to be looking for things and not know where they are. So they say that emphasizing the untapped potential in AI coding, quote, the ceiling of the AI coding space is so high, there's so much to do that it's not possible to just clone the tech and put, great sales on top. You need to constantly evolve the tech. With a team that's got a ton of ambition, Radiosphere, I think, really has a very extensive list of features queued up for Cursor that they plan on rolling out. Among them are enhancing Cursor's ability to make intricate edits and also its adaptiveness at recognizing code. I think with all of this, the future is quite promising for Anysphere. And I think that, they have an annual recurring revenue, which is already past the $1 million mark, which is, of course, a very remarkable feat for a startup at its early stages. I will say, they'll definitely want to keep an eye on what the big players are doing, making sure that they're building a full tool and not just a feature that, someone like GitHub is going to incorporate into their Copilot. So I think that they do have the vision. I think they do understand the risks. And I think that they believe they can bring something better, faster to the market. And so it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out and how they're able to roll out those new features.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. That's the sound of switching your business to Shopify, the global commerce platform that supercharges your selling. Harness the best converting checkout and same intuitive features, trusted apps, and powerful analytics used by the world's leading brands. Stop leaving sales on the table. Discover why millions trust Shopify to build, grow, and run their business. Sign up today for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/tech23.
This episode is brought to you by Klaviyo, the platform that powers smarter digital relationships. With Klaviyo, you can activate all your customer data in real time, connect seamlessly with your customers across all channels, guide your marketing strategy with AI-powered insights, recommendations, and automated assistance, deliver experiences that feel individually designed at scale, and grow your business faster. Power smarter digital relationships with Klaviyo. Learn more at klaviyo.com/Spotify. That's KLAVIYO.com/Spotify.
Thank you for listening to the AI Chat Podcast. If you enjoyed the podcast, I'd appreciate it if you rate me wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you're looking for an innovative group of AI enthusiasts, make sure you check out our Discord channel and also our Facebook community. It's obviously a lot more interactive than a podcast, where we can actually share software tools, prompts that we're using in everyday AI. I'll leave a link for those in the description below.